everybody. Tonight we're going to do the third installment of my short videos on haptics in a certain price range. So the first one was called lower priced haptics, and the next video was called medium priced haptics, and this we're going to call higher priced haptics. The first one was under $50. The medium ranged were between 50 and 100. These will range anywhere from between 100 and 200. So that's where we're going to start. So unlike the first two videos in this series, on those first two videos I was able to give you a link to each and every one of them where you could find a place to buy it. Now in this case these are a little bit older, and for the most part every store that I bought these from doesn't have it anymore, and I wasn't able to readily find other stores that I dealt with before that I trusted to guide you to buy these from, so I skipped that step. However, you can get on AliExpress and do a search and search for these by name or by maker, and if you just do a search for Zero One, say, or for GAO Studio or GD EDC, or what else is there, Mackie. When you search for the maker's name, you'll find all kinds of things pop up, and a lot of them are used or secondhand. And I wouldn't let that discourage you, because I've bought several used pieces on AliExpress, and as long as you communicate with the seller and make sure you know what you're getting and what condition it's in, then you probably will be satisfied. So like I said, each one of these is going to have a mention in the comments. They are numbered. This is 1. This is, well, let's go 1 through 20. This is 20. This is number 1. I'm going to work backwards, but if you go into the comments, you can look up any of these by their number down there. I'll have a timestamp for each one, and each one will have what the material is. Most of these are stainless, but some of them are tie. The material, the price that I paid for it at the time, and if I could give you an idea of what the price might be like right now, because I have seen some of these and I can give you an idea what you might pay for them. I just can't provide you with the links. And I might tell you the store that I initially bought these from. But other than that, like I said, I won't be providing links for each one of these to a store where you can buy them from. You'll have to search those out yourself. Okay, just like the first two times, I'm going to try to do this in sort of a rapid fire session. We're not going to be reviewing things from top to bottom. We're not taking anything apart or doing comparisons. I'm just going to tell you what the name of it is, and a little thing will come across the bottom of the screen or somewhere on the screen saying what number it is and what its description is, briefly, or maybe at the whole time I'm talking about it. I can't remember how I did it the last time. Anyhow, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about each one briefly. If I have anything important to say about it, realize that opinions do change over time, so there are I have a review link for almost all of these in the comments, and if you go back and look at my initial review, I might talk quite differently about it than I do here this evening, because my opinion has changed over time. Keep that in mind. So this is my current opinion on these items, and let's get right into it. Alrighty, number 20 is the Owl by GAO Studios. This is one of my first haptics, and it was also one of the first that came out on the market, really, and I paid a ridiculous price of $135 for this. The store I bought it from is long dead. I don't know who that was. This has its features, but I don't think I would ever pay that much for something like this in today's market. I think this is more worth, well, if you buy one, an original one, you're still going to pay one high price for it because they're hard to find. But honestly, I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't buy one of these probably for more than 60 bucks. But you probably won't find it for that cheap. Alright, next thing is the Biscuit by Clown Orange EDC. This thing, for some reason, magnetic ball sliders are making a comeback. They're easier to make than mechanical ones, but a lot of them now have a tuning fork option here in the middle. There's at least 3 different brands that have a tuning fork part in the middle, and I'm just absolutely not interested. I'm kind of moved on to mechanical sliders, and I don't want to waste money like I did on this. Although I don't think it's a waste. It's a beautiful piece, and I do like it. However, it's loud, it's aggressive. This is stainless steel, and I think I paid $120, and I bought it used from a fellow Facebook member. All right, I love this thing. This is called the Check and Balance. It's made by a company called Sphere Design, and it just does this. Well, it's hard to do that without giving somebody the bird until you get used to holding it. But I usually walk around like this. And it can be taken apart. It's all held together magnetically. If you do that, please watch my video first, because there are very small magnets inside here, and when they come apart, they can get lost very easily. But it's a really neat piece, really interesting. This was available in titanium and brass, and I originally paid $156 for it, and if you find it now, it's about the same price. I didn't say that about this. This is about the same price, and you can't find one of these originals anywhere. At least I couldn't. All right, go back in time a little bit here to the CP2, Mackie CP2. Part mechanical, it's hybrid, part mechanical magnetic. Magnetic on this side, mechanical on this side. So if you just want to do the mechanical part, you can do that. I'll extend the whole thing. It also has some limiting mechanisms in here that can be moved. Right now I have it in the shortened position, but you can move these things out so it clicks one more click mechanically and one more click magnetically. You'll probably only find these used. There's probably a few maybe that are still sold new. I'm not sure about that, but I paid about $120 for mine, I think, and I'm pretty sure I bought it used from someone on Facebook. Mackie CP2. This one was so underappreciated by me originally. It was it was one of the only mechanicals that were out there, and I just wasn't thinking about it that way. In fact, in my opinion, I thought it felt kind of rough compared to some magnetic sliders like this one, and I just didn't appreciate the mechanical aspects of it. Now, if you can get your hands on a CP2 and you can get them used, you'll find these on AliExpress very worthwhile. And I think you'll pay used anywhere from $100 to $130. And I originally bought mine from Marseilland a long time ago. So this is very expensive, probably the most expensive one I have, called the Top Speed by YEZEDC. It's a 3-level magnetic slider with a pivot. And I would only buy this if this turns you on for some reason. I was disappointed to find out, based on the photographs, that I didn't really get what I was paying for. I don't want to get completely into it, but there are some limiters that should have come with this as extra pieces that you would plop in here in order to set this up in a different way. And there's also 2 limiters in here that are permanently glued in, which should not be glued in permanently. But that's how they went out, and I think that's how you'll find it if you buy one of these. I'd look close at the photos. I never did a full review on this one. That's one that's not out there, but I've talked about it periodically. So yeah, I would, unless you're willing to pay the price. I mean, what did I see? I paid $178 for this, and I'm seeing them for anywhere from $150 to $170 on AliExpress. So this one is called the Zero One Magnetic 3-level. We didn't have a name other than that, but very popular when it came out, and also very infamous because people bought them on Facebook, and the magnets came unglued before they ever got to their destinations. I bought mine on AliExpress. I think I didn't have any issues like that. I've put some Teflon tape on mine to make it a little bit smoother, but I paid $147 for this, and it's so complicated to buy one of these now because there are so many different body types for the outside and at least 3 different interior mechanisms. You have the magnetic mechanism, you have the mechanical mechanism, which is in this, and then you also have now 1 or possibly 2 different internal mechanisms that are, I believe, mechanical and have a pivot feature. And I was always happy with what I had mechanically here with this one, so I'll probably not ever pay the price for the pivot feature. But anyhow, yeah, I didn't want to get into pricing of what you'd have to pay for these now because there's so many different options. If you get different kind of covers, different prices, different materials. So there you go. Stainless steel, when I bought it, again, was about $147. And then, this is one of my probably absolute top pieces. Just, it works so flawlessly. And it's like, I always say clockwork. It's just made so well. It's the Zero One EDC. Again, didn't really have a name. The Zero One EDC 3-level mechanical. And this one I paid about $148 for. I think I bought it on Facebook. And now, like I said, just like the other one, the magnetic one we just talked about, there's a whole variety of cover plates for this. And again, the internal mechanisms, you can get 3 different kinds or so. One that pivots and these other ones. So I can't really tell you what to pay. We end up having to pay for them currently. But definitely a nice piece. This is the X-Lock by Lautie. I think it's like the only Lautie piece that I have. And I did a review on this, and I was kind of inspired to do a review on this because a buddy, I think Sean, probably on Fidget Fix, I think he bought the Wanwu version of this, which is called the, oh, I forget what it's called. Anyhow, it's very much like this, but it had better features than this did. So if this really turns you on, and it's worth it to you, then this one would be, where's it at? Let me find it here. Looks like I got things a little bit out of order. Maybe. Yeah, oh yeah, I did. X-Lock. X-Lock's supposed to be clear up here. Holy shit balls. Alright, that's fine. This will piss off people that just looked at the very beginning of the video and think that this was a different number than it is now. So let's go to here. Stay on track. This was the first piece of the first piece that I bought from Metal Toys DZ. That was well, no, it's not the first piece I bought, is it? I bought the little thing. Gosh, what's it called? The top B. The top B. So yeah, I had 2 top Bs, one with the standard spacing and one with the dense spacing. But then I bought this, and this is one of the original top Ds, and it does this. And I originally paid from INS Works. I got this for about 115 bucks. And if you're looking for one that just does this, I think you'll pay about the same. But you can get one of these, and it comes in all the different varieties. A lot of these do too. I'm not mentioning that. You can get them mostly in, you know, the usual metals like stainless steel, and then sometimes PEI is an option, but sometimes there's the fancier metals like Zirc. Anyhow, back to this thing. You can get it in different materials. You can get it in a different a metal version that behaves like this, where this middle part does a zipper thing where it goes back and forth. I'll show you that in a second. This one does not do that. So I like it enough, but I don't think I'd buy one today. It's kind of limited in what it can do and everything. I also, its clicking isn't quite spaced out evenly, and I like things to be evenly spaced, so that kind of bugs me a little bit. And I was intrigued enough to buy the Peak version. And I remember them, they make a PEI version of this too, but the PEI version only does this. It doesn't even do what the one I just showed you does. It only goes back and forth. And they said that they didn't want to make it do this in the PEI version because it was too brittle. And I could understand that, because this PEI is very flexible. In fact, I think it's too flexible, because it allows you to bend this, to move this in ways that the metal version of this, I'm almost certain, would not allow you to do. For instance, that. You're not really supposed to be able to do that. That would be like the same thing as me doing that with this one. You can't do that with this one. But the internal pieces on the inside here flex apart enough that it allows a square peg to turn within a rectangular slot and force the sides of that rectangular slot to spread out. So I don't think they really should have released this in PEI, because it doesn't function exactly the way the metal one does. But if PEI is your thing, I mean, it works well enough. And if you're careful, I think it would be dangerous to turn it in places where it's not supposed to turn, like here. Just because it's going to wear down that slot on the inside, is my opinion. So this one was like $135, and the store I bought it from is long dead. I think if you want to find another Peak one, you'll pay about the same price nowadays. All right, here we go. PigNose. This was a collaboration between AC EDC and 42 Cosmo, and it's pretty cool for a magnetic ball slider. When you take it apart, I have to show you. I know this isn't going to be like a full review, but I can show you. When you take out the balls, then it becomes a pivot slider. And then I had to Loctite that part in because it kept coming loose. But if you want to, then you can take that out as well, and it will work not great, but it'll work as a free-floating slider, and you can get it to ladder. But it doesn't ladder really well because the magnets aren't strong enough for the weight. You probably understand what I'm talking about if you have ever experienced that before. But other than that, the PigNose slider is a pretty neat one. This one originally cost me $105, and the price has gone way down for stainless steel anyhow. I think you can find these for about $85 now. Alright, well I did start to talk about the X-Lock, didn't I? Let me just cover that again quick. I did a review on this because I was inspired after I saw my friend Sean Couson over on Fidget Fix. He did a review on his one, which was a Wanwu, and I want to say Hi-Fi Boy. I'm not sure if that's right or not, but it had more functionality and more modularity than this does. Is what it ended up being. But if this turns you on, then something like this would cost about, well, it was $132 when I bought it originally from Marcia Linda, and you can find them now. Now this is the V1. The V2, I can't find the V1. Whoops, I can't find the V1. The V2, at least on AliExpress, the V2 though is exactly the same thing. I don't think there's any changes to it really. And maybe some cosmetic things. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for that. But the V2 is available from $115 to $120. Magnetic. Hold it like a syringe. Interesting piece, but a little big, kind of heavy for your pocket too. This is the Sky Tower by Tigo EDC. This was $137, and the store I bought it from is long gone. I couldn't find these on AliExpress for some reason. I'm sure they come up occasionally used. Again, any of this stuff could come up used on AliExpress. It could also come up on the Facebook groups. If you're on Facebook, you should join the Daily Fidget. There's a group called the Daily Fidget, and once you become a member there, you have to become a member there first. Then you can join the Daily Fidget Marketplace, which is a different group. We also just call that the Buy Sell Trade, or the BST. and then you can buy from usually members that have, you can get vouchers from other members that you trust. But anyhow, Sky Tower, stainless steel, magnetic. I like it very much. It is interesting to take apart. There's spaces for 4 trits on the inside of each of these. At one point in time, I had some copper wire placed in these. That's the same diameter and length as a trit would be. It looked pretty neat. What else is there to say about this? If you have, I think it's called the Monkey Mind slider, the magnetic slider that's about as big as your thumb. It was designed by Tigo, and it was meant to work with this. So you can put one side of it in here, it'll stick. Put the other side of it in here, it'll stick. And carry both of them around in your pocket like that. It won't move around. It won't work. This fidget won't work properly with those smaller ones in place. But once you take one of them out, then you would at least have this feature. You'd be able to spin this around. Either way, it's kind of neat that that you can put those in there. And then if you take it apart, I suppose, you know, what if you got 2 kids? You got nothing better to do. You could give one of them half of this with your Tigo Monkey Mind slider piece, and then the other one could have the other half with that in it, and you could put this middle piece right here in your pocket. But that's getting a little bit ridiculous. Anyhow, that is the Sky Tower by Tigo EDC. These two I would advise probably against overall, especially this was the it's called the rifle or the rifling, and it's because they're trying to imitate an automatic or semi-automatic weapon action here, you know, like a but this one's magnetic, this one is mechanical. This is the V2 and this is the V4. It's from GAO Studio. They're both stainless steel. I took the time to put these little titanium D-clips, D-rings on there, and actually that was kind of a mistake because I wanted it to work with my clip. It doesn't really matter because I don't really play with either of these very much, especially this one, but they both do need to have a lanyard of some sort on there, and it turns out that these D-rings kind of get in the way a little bit. Maybe I just haven't used it enough like that, but yeah, this one's magnetic. I didn't do a review on this one, I don't think, but I've talked about it. Yeah, B2, you'd have a hard time finding one anyhow, but unless you're a serious collector, I'd stay away from that. I don't know what the V1 ever was, but I know the V3 was somewhat different and had some kind of spring in it, and I'd stay away from that one too, to be honest. This one's a little bit more interesting. It is mechanical. It's got this little storage space for balls that just for rattle and for aesthetics, but it does click forward to a point where it's springy. Now it doesn't even, you don't have to have it set up like that. There's internal springs that create that effect, and you can take that out if you want. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks that way, 6, and then a long slide until it sort of clicks again and locks in place, and then you push it forward till it clicks. So I honestly never used it too much. It's a little bit awkward. So unless you're pretty serious about that one, you might want to skip it too. See, the higher priced ones don't necessarily mean the best. This is a compilation. This is a collaboration between GD EDC and 42 Cosmo, and I've heard it called different things. I'm going to call it the Mermaid. I've heard it called the Mermaid Reincarnated, or Reincarnate, or the Mermaid Reborn. It is a shell. You buy the parts on the outside and the parts on the inside separately. I have the mechanical setup on the internal, right, and the internal parts are mechanical on this one. You can also get a free-floating magnet setup and another setup that's magnetic that has a pivot feature to it. But this one just has Teflon interior. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clicks either direction. Pretty mild. but it's pleasing. It's a nice sort of a worry stone kind of a thing. However, it wasn't cheap. I bought this right when they were new, fairly after they were new, for a combined price of $144. That means the body was $88 and the internal mechanical part was $56. So the same combination today, roughly speaking, depending on where you buy it, will cost you over $200. So remember, I paid about $150 for this. Now you pay about over $200 for something like that. And I'm not too interested, I'm certainly not interested in the free-floating magnet insert. The other insert with the pivot I'd be interested in trying out, but I haven't seen that demonstrated too well to understand it 100%. Either way, I'm not willing to put the money down to try it out. But this one's very nice. Alright, this one I would probably advise against unless you're like no, I'm not a super collector. What am I saying? This works with one of their other ones, and you can take off these plates and take the other slider piece and put it on. And that was my main attraction to buying this. In fact, that's worth showing you, so let me get that. I'll be right back. So yeah, it's the same company, JuzhEDC EDC. This is their ball slider. They had this in different materials, and my ultimate goal was to get this in G10 because it would be very, very light. But these pieces work on this. Now, right now it's just hanging on there magnetically. You see it'll slide off. But I paid extra, and this is where it pays to communicate with sellers on AliExpress. I saw this in the picture, but they didn't initially offer it. And I asked if I could get some, and they told me, sure, we'll sell you these. And I forget what the price was, but I needed 8 of them. In retrospect, I could have gotten away probably with just 4. I could have used 2 diagonally on each side. But I have one for each location. These little metal plugs go into these little divots. And then when you put the other slider half on, it locks down into these grooves because you've put that little locator. But we're not going to go through a full demonstration there. I just wanted you to see how that worked. Meanwhile, I've got little balls flying all over the place. Yeah, so that is something that works with this, and that was one of the main reasons I bought this. And this was not too cheap. It's called the Multi-Track. It's by JuzhEDC EDC, which I've heard means matrix, or was that right? Or maybe they called one of their sliders the matrix. This is not. This was just described mostly as the Multi-Track, and somebody else who's selling these is calling it something else entirely. So you never know. I may be completely wrong. The other guy might be completely wrong. It really doesn't matter. On AliExpress, though, I've only seen this described as the Multi-Track, and the reason is because it has 2 tracks in it, a dense pattern and a less dense pattern. But there's a spring and ball in here that's a ball plunger, and you can put it on this side or this side. In fact, I can show you once I take this off. The ball plunger's right here. It's on the dense side right now. You can move it over here and have the less dense side, or you could put a ball plunger in both sides, but then it's a mushy mess of too many clicks. You know, you really either want to have one side or the other. But you know, here it is by itself, as a matter of fact. And there's this gimmicky tuning fork located in the middle. It's screwed down on one side but not on the other side, and it hangs in there, and they've cut grooves into it to make the overall length of it even longer. And if you hear, it has a little bit of a ding to it. Taking this apart is a real challenge, and if you have to, I would seriously recommend, not to toot my own horn, but I would seriously recommend checking out my video. It is very complicated, and that's one reason that I would not recommend this one, probably because if I remember correctly, there's 8 balls here, 8 balls here, then another 8 balls here, 8 balls here, if you can believe it, and the same thing on the opposite side, but they're located in different places. It makes it taking it apart and putting it back together terribly difficult. And when all you want to do is move the plunger from this side to this side, that's a hell of a lot to ask. So yeah, that video is worth checking out, but I don't know if you want to spend the money on this or not. I bought it from INS Works and I paid about 100 and well, no, that's not right. We're not on that yet. I paid $111, but the price has actually gone down. This one's stainless steel with some titanium on it. I believe it's the blue part is titanium. The rest of it I think is stainless. Well, no, I think this is titanium. At least this. This looks titanium for sure. And then I think the other options were like bronze. I don't know what else was available, but 111, and the price went down. If you're looking for one of these now, you can actually get it for $80 or $90. And I got mine from INS Works. I don't know if they're still selling them or not. All right, almost at the home stretch here. This is what I call the SG2 because that's what they put on there, and I believe it was the model right before what I call the Hamburg. Everybody's calling it the mini burger or the mini hamburger, but AliExpress just calls it the Hamburg. So it's the SG2, and it's very pingy. But you can't find these anymore, at least not on AliExpress. You might be able to find them used. I paid originally $115 for this from INS Works. It is stainless steel, and like I said, the Hamburg is I believe it to be the exact same thing, but with a rounder body and everything. And in fact, I'll throw a picture up here just temporarily. That's the Hamburg. It's a 3-level, just like this. The only difference that I see is that this has sort of chamfered corners to it, and that has rounded corners. This is nice. I'd like to try one of those, but I hate to spend the money on one of those when I know it's pretty much going to be the same as this, I think. But either way, if you were interested in one of these, I think the Hamburg might be your only option right now. And I'm not sure that was available in different metals or not. I bought the PEI version first, and then I bought the stainless version. These are both from a company called DOM EDC, and they're called the piano slider for some reason. They're 3-level mechanical, and there are some magnets, but I would not necessarily call it a hybrid slider because those magnets don't have too much of an effect. They sort of help it pop into position when it gets to those locations. The unique thing about this, which isn't really even a great feature, is in one direction you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks. In the other direction, you get 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th long click. 1, 2, 3, a long 4 click. 1, 2, 3, and a long 4 click. So it gives you a weird sensation. See how there's that little pop? And I do like that. You know, as opposed to flipping it over and you get 5 and 5. That's nice too, but 4 and 4 for whatever reason, and that little bit of a space delay gives it that pleasant sensation. So this was from INS Works initially, and it was PEI, and it was $107. And I believe there might be one left in stock that's PEI. The other ones, stainless steel, are out of stock. And I bought, you can get, this was another one where you could buy a different body on the outside and different internals, but they didn't have, you know, like there's no magnetic option for this that I know of, I don't think. No, I don't think so. But you can get this internal part in PEI. Like I could switch these internal parts out. I could switch these around if I wanted to, and I'm sure that would give you different feelings. So there you go, 5 and 5, 4 and 4. This one was $115 when I bought it. INS Works, and like I said, they're out of stock. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry I wasn't able to provide you a link for each one of these to go out and snag one up, but hopefully this will help you make a decision if you find one that's used or otherwise. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye.